welcome to another episode of Talking Politics here at The Hindu with me, Nistula Hebbar, where we unpack news making the headlines in domestic politics. Now, this week we will be seeing the Congress plenary unfolding in Raipur with a rather dramatic start to the proceedings with ED raids and in Chhattisgarh and the arrest of party spokesperson and subsequent bail of Pawan Khera. But the big story, in my view, is the decision by the Election Commission of India to recognize the claims of Chief Minister of Maharashtra Eknath Shinde and his group over the bow and arrow symbol and the name of the Shiv Sena over that of former Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, making it the official Shiv Sena recognized by the EC, officially recognized by the EC. Now, this has enabled the Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena to claim the party's legislature offices in the Maharashtra Assembly and in Parliament and other attendant assets, barring the Sena Bhavan, party headquarters in Dadar, which remains contested but is off the fight now. But we are likely to see a fight over that piece of real estate going into the future, depending on how the chips fall as far as public support is concerned. Now, let's go back to what happened with regard to the symbol and the name of the party, etc., which led to this decision by the ECI. Now, in October 2022, the Election Commission of India froze the symbol and the party name allotted to the Shiv Sena, and then later allotted two new names and symbols to both factions of the Shiv Sena. One was Balasaheb Shiv Sena, led by Eknath Shinde, and the other was Uddhav Balasaheb Thackerey Shiv Sena. So they had different symbols also allotted to them. But that was for a very limited period of a particular bypoll that was to be held. And the EC said, okay, we are allotting this temporary symbols to both of you while we decide on the actual symbol that, or the actual claimant of the bow and arrow symbol of the Shiv Sena. So, in almost all such disputes so far, a clear majority of party delegates, office bearers, MPs, and MLAs have supported one of the factions. So, the EC has decided on that basis. In the case of the Shiv Sena, the majority of the party's elected representatives switched over to Eknath Shinde's side. And the Shiv Sena, the ECI has been saying that the internal elections of delegates and organizational structure of the Shiv Sena has been completely undemocratic, basically based on the whims and fancies of the leader, and therefore there was no way of deciding on the basis of the organizational structure. So they decided to base their judgment on the based on who the majority of the party's elected representatives supported, which was the Eknath Shinde faction. So whenever the ECI could not test the strength of rival groups based on support within the party organization because of disputes regarding the list of office bearers, it has sought to fall back on testing the majority only among elected MPs and MLAs, as I said, which they did in this case. Now, while legal challenges following the 2022 fall of the Uddhav Thackeray-led Mahavikas Aghadi government, which had the Shiv Sena or the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena, the Congress and the NCP as constituents, was still being heard by the Supreme Court. The political consequences of the Election Commission's decision will be visible in both the long and the short term. Now, Maharashtra is a very, very crucial, important state politically in India, not just politically, in terms of also being the financial hub for the entire country. It has 48 Lok Sabha seats, which is a large number, and the BJP's association or alliance with Shiv Sena has paid off for them in the short and the long term. But they will be going into the 2024 elections, most likely without any allies except the now newly christened Shiv Sena, which was led by the Eknath Shinde government. So all of these things are in the fray. The way the Mahavikas Aghadi government fell in October in 2022 is still being debated on, and therefore narrative wise and in terms of real politics as well, these are events that are going to have a major impact going into the future. Now, a political party, what is a political party? Now, political party is much more than a corporate company. It is constituted through the organization, its people, the support base, its driving ideology, the streams of loyalty between the leadership and the organization, the leaders' appeal to voters, and how voters are mobilized via the organization. It's a living, breathing sort of conglomeration of people, and therefore, when splits happen, they are often messy, emotional sort of affairs. Now, it is therefore interesting to note that the BJP does not rule out the fact that there is a section of the Shiv Sena, because I spoke a lot to BJP leaders on what it means for this decision of the EC to come through. Now, they said that there is a section of the Shiv Sena which owes loyalty to the Thackeray family. Balasaheb Thackeray, of course, being the founder of the party, and Uddhav Thackeray, his heir, and his family, etc., and acknowledges that they have the leadership of the Shiv Sena. There is also an acknowledgement in BJP circles that the narrative around the collapse of the NVA government after Eknath Shinde walked across to join the NDA. If you remember, there was a real cloak and dagger thing where MLAs were flown off to Guwahati, first to Gujarat, then to Guwahati. So he split the Shiv Sena. Now that hasn't exactly come across in the NDA's favor. Eknath Shinde and his supporters in the Shiv Sena had been saying that the alliance with the NCP and the Congress had made them uncomfortable. It was an unnatural alliance for a party with the ideology of the Shiv Sena, and that the dominance of the NCP within that alliance had alienated Shiv Senics. They basically said in this three-party alliance, Shiv Sena may have got the chief minister's position, but the government was actually being run by Sharad Pawar's NCP, the Nationalist Congress Party. They also claimed that the alliance would not have happened if the Shiv Sena founder Balasaheb Thackeray had been around. He would have just put a stop to it. He would have said, "This is nonsense. Don't do this." At least this is what the Eknath Shinde group said. However, this point hasn't been hammered home as much as it should have been according to BJP sources. And a cloak and dagger operation to split the Shiv Sena, the former ally of the BJP, basically that cloak and dagger operation, how MLAs were flown to Surat and then suddenly flown off to Guwahati, sequestered in a hotel there, etc., before a test of strength happened, that actually claimed mind space. With the Election Commission terming Eknath Shinde as the claimant of the symbol and the name of the Shiv Sena, the BJP is hoping that some of what Shinde gang, the Shinde group felt when they walked out of the Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena, and the MVA government would be conveyed to the people, that they actually stood for the actual ideas of the Shiv Sena, etc. Now, what the BJP is also counting on, as is Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena, is that fence sitters within the Shiv Sena the old Shiv Sena organization, may throw in their lot with the NDA. Now, let me kind of just explain the Shiv Sena's organizational structure. Now, a lot of parties have, a president, then you have a set of you have vice presidents who are not as powerful as the general secretaries, who are like the very, very operational section of the party organization. Then you have party secretaries, and then you have state presidents, district presidents, and block presidents, etc. In the Shiv Sena, the organizational pyramid has a Vibhag Pramukh, who is a district chief at the top, and he then talks to the Shiv Sena's leadership. Then you have a Shakha Pramukh in the middle and a Ghat Pramukh. Basically, what colloquially is referred to as Panch Gali Ka Neta, a leader of 5 streets at the most basic level. Now, the most operational level in these 3 levels is that of the Shakha Pramukh, especially when it comes to voter mobilization. The Shakha Pramukh is the guy to whom people of the area could appeal to for help. Say you're stuck in a COVID lockdown and you want some rations to be delivered to you. You're stuck somewhere, you can't go. You're stuck outside and your family is stuck in a particular area. You can call the Shakha Pramukh. if you're a Shiv Sena voter, or if you just need some help, and this person can step in, spend the resources of the party, and help you out, and therefore win your loyalty and possibly your voting support in the next election. So the Shakha Pramukh is the person who does all these things. He's a problem solver, he helps people, and he gets resources to do this from the party high command. Salaries are paid to Shakha Pramukhs, and also some money for all this kind of outreach activities. Therefore, in terms of elections and voter mobilizations, it is the Shakha Pramukh who receives resources from the party for its programs and outreach to sections of society, helping out people. And here, BJP says there are many fence sitters. Some have, of course, thrown in the lot with Uddhav Thackeray. There are many who are still waiting to see which way public opinion, legal challenges are going to go. Here, resources also play an important role, because access to resources in order to channel it in terms of outreach to people is the touchstone of the Shakha Pramukh's voter mobilization strategy for the Shiv Sena. So the capacity of Ms. Shinde as Chief Minister to extend state patronage is also considerable and may help swing Shakha Pramukhs his way. So the BJP feels that if the Shakha Pramukhs, many of them, if they come on board with Eknath Shinde, it will weaken Uddhav Thackeray and the Shiv Sena that he heads. So now the NDA is also anticipating that these decisions will affect the balance within the Mahavikas Aghadi. Now, already people have been saying that the NCP is the dominant party in the Mahavikas Aghadi, although Uddhav Thackeray was the chief minister. But now, with the fact that he lost the party symbol, which is extremely important in electoral terms, especially in the rural hinterland, where parties are very deeply associated with their symbols, the NCP may play a more dominating role within the alliance. A third kind of consequence that I see of all of this happening is the rise of the importance of Prakash Ambedkar and the party that he leads, which is the Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi, which claims the support of the Bahujan Samaj. Now, this cannot be written off. While the VBA announced a tie-up with Uddhav Thackeray-led faction of the Shiv Sena, the party, when it came to basically the Pimpri Chintwad by-polls which are due now, they basically showed that they were extremely independent. So they have announced support to the Uddhav Thackeray faction, but they retain the right to make their own independent decisions when it comes to elections and poll adjustment. So, for example, for the Chinchwad by polls, basically they said that they are going to support the independent candidate Rahul Kalate, and Mr. Kalate basically was hoping to get a ticket from the MVA, but he was denied. And the NCP said that no, we are going to be fighting on behalf of the MVA. Our party candidate will be getting the ticket from Chinchwad. So the VBA, the Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi, did not like it. They said we are going to support Mr. Kalate as an independent rebel candidate. And the BJP sees that this kind of little bits of fighting and independent thinking, independent striking out within the coalition will be helpful to them going ahead in the future. Now, as I said earlier in this episode, a political party is made up of a lot of things, but none more so than convincing the voting public of the righteousness of your position. For this, narrative building is also important. An indication of whose story the Maharashtra voters will buy will be partly indicated once the BMC polls are done. BMC is the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation, the richest municipal corporation in India, and the base of basically the Shiv Sena's power in Maharashtra. And it will be a very, very powerful indicator of just whose story Maharashtrians are buying. Uddhav Thackeray is saying that Eknath Shinde has betrayed his father, Balasaheb Thackerey, or Eknath Shinde saying that no, ideologically, it was Uddhav Thackeray who betrayed Balasaheb Thackeray's ideas and influence. All of this is very much in the air. We cannot be like the Election Commission, but we can take their strategy on board, which is that when they couldn't find organizations and delegates, they couldn't find it in the Shiv Sena to decide on who the symbol should go to. They just stuck to the elected representatives and their support base. We too are going to hang who we think Maharashtrians have supported to results of the BMC and later perhaps the general elections of 2024. This space is wide open, but as of now, this is all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching.